The following is a transcript of a conversation between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am. 26th April 2021, Reproduction. Me. This morning in the pyramid, what I saw and felt. I am. What? Me. I hope it is not today's task. I am. Ha ha ha. That's up to you. Me. I see it as difficult. I am. Tell me what happened. Me. When I entered, there was no one, and as I approached the sarcophagus, I saw my grandson lying in it, as in the story I wrote. I feel that every day I communicate with him a little through time, and beside him I felt his father, that is, my son, who is not yet born. I always feel connected to them in one way or another. Then I knelt before the sarcophagus and connected with them, feeling what they were bringing me for today, and I recognized strongly the creative center. Then the presence of the divine Father and Mother manifested, taking me on a journey of creation. Then a group of Spaniards were present, tourists, who gradually joined the meditation and songs. Suddenly I saw myself witnessing, with songs and words, the performance of an act of fertilization between both energies, which deposited their energies in the sarcophagus, explaining to me that this same thing would expand to the network, fertilizing the planet. I did not understand well, but nothing was sexual. At no time was energy of sexuality manifested, but of unity and fertility, like two forces that shook hands to initiate something. I am. That's reproduction. Me. I mean, I know I'll have a child at some point, but reproduction? I am. Let's analyze. Again, back to. Forward, with a purpose. Ducere, carry, drive, direct. And action. Reproduction is the action of driving something in order to advance again and again. It doesn't necessarily mean having a child. There are different types of reproduction: biological reproduction, cell reproduction, sexual reproduction, physical reproduction, emotional, mental, interdimensional reproduction, but they all come from the same thing: producing. Producing is the act of directing or taking something to a specific destination. Cell production is the mechanism by which the universe generates life, through the replication of fractals. You can think of it as a factory where a product is manufactured. Product is the subject or object that is produced. In manufacturing, different structures, sections, processes are carried out by different agents, whether people or machines, or animals or bacteria and fungi, depending on the case, in which, through levels of activity, they generate a final product. Me. Like watching the TV program, How Do They Do It?, where they take objects from everyday life and in a few minutes narrate the production process from obtaining the raw material until you buy it or it reaches your hands. I am. All of that is described as production, and an object that is required by many will be of high productivity. You can see now that there is a product that requires production to become productive. Me. Yes, I understand. I am. Well, on an organic biological level, the same thing happens. An organism must constantly produce its essential product, cells. Your body produces about 4 million cells per second. It is a factory in constant regeneration, creating even after death. Although most are red blood cells, a large number replicate the cells of the organs in order to keep them always in renewal. In an average of 8 or 9 years, every cell in your body will have been replaced, which indicates that at 8 years of age, you were completely a different and unique being, and the same will be repeated that same number of years, except for neurons, of course. This act of incessant production is called reproduction. Me. To be produced again and again. I am. Now, if we understand that the organisms of the universe are the same being that multiplies producing more of itself, and that they find a way to multiply infinitely through the exchange and generation of energy, reproducing, we can understand that everything that exists is the product of a constant reproduction, which only complicates the systems in which it reproduces. By resonance, molecules reproduce by taking atoms. Chemical compounds reproduce, generating effects such as crystallization, and cells do the same, producing complex organisms that replicate the same system. In this case, we have different forms of cell reproduction, mostly divided into sexual and asexual. Asexual is that being that does not use the genitals to reproduce, and sexual, well, the opposite. Think now that complex organisms such as an animal, a plant, a human, use these types of reproduction in the same way as cells, exchanging energy and data. There is a natural call to reproduction, something inevitable in biology. Me. Why? I am. Because each cell is programmed in you to multiply and continue to generate a consecutive line of energy and data transfer. The key in the universe is the constancy of time and space, and cells are not exempt from this, but are and exist as a function of this constant. Me. So they don't die per se, but pass their energy to the next so that the information can follow. I am. Well, the only thing that exists is information, and matter is nothing more than a way in which information is ordered to improve its form of continuity and transcendence. That's precisely where the word information comes from, something that is in the process of forming itself. You can understand that this is the key to eternity in the universe, for only its forms are modified, and the information continues. Therefore, the information, the data that live in your body and build your reality, incessantly ask to reproduce, in order to continue expanding even after death, and this is a call from nature to reproduction. Me. But not everyone feels that call. I am. Yes, they do, only in different ways. As we said, biologically, reproduction can occur in an asexual way, as in starfish, plants, fungi, bacteria, and other microorganisms, which divide themselves to generate new individuals or use spores or seeds to fertilize. On the other hand, there are the sexual. Sex equals section, that is, what separates females from males, which use a genital reproduction. The main purpose of cells is to obtain energy, food, reserve energy, sleep, and transmit energy, reproduction. Some animals, in the world of birds and mammals more specifically, have managed to translate this mechanism of energy exchange to a more complex plane of survival called emotional plane. Me. Love, affection. I am. Which does not need a sexuality, but a simple presence that nourishes and gives security and energy to sharing. Hominids turned this into culture, and humans turned it into civilization. That is, the exchange of information ceased to occur exclusively at the physical cellular level, and became also through emotion and intellect. The social evolution of the human led him to be able to reproduce in a way that had never happened before, through recognition. That is, through tools that allowed the individual to stay alive through a product, a story, legend, achievements, public acts, art, mastery, which allowed their information not necessarily to be delivered from physical sexuality. Me. Oh, I understand the path our evolution took. I am. This is how productivity was generated. The awareness that it is necessary to do things, to produce, to be recognized. I am. This is what makes some say they do not want to have children. The idea of gestating does not make them happy, but the idea of generating. I am. Reproduction is not proper to sexuality, but to a being that passes information from one cell to another, from one individual to another, from one product to another. As we said, to produce is to carry out something, to direct a project, to manifest an idea, which does not necessarily have to do with procreating, having a baby. Me. I understand. So what did these forces mean today, female and male? I am. To create, you need the inner feminine force, the inspiration that lies in you, the love that connects things, that weaves realities. And on the other hand, you need the masculine force, the external, that drives you, that ignites the will, that gives logic to the created. Both forces live in each being and make up the creative capacity. Your body knows what it is to move forward and knows what it is to produce cells. Therefore, in you lie the experiences of creation itself, and therefore, you must put them to work. What the two beings said today is that the earth is a cell, and as such, it multiplies. However, for that to be projected in other dimensions and manifested in this one to be productive, it needs both forces to unite to generate consciousness. Me. Like what we will do in planetary activation, in which 6 women will be in the south nodes of the earth and 6 men in the north nodes. I am. And both must come together to reproduce the forms and to pass the information from one dimension to the other. Me. It's as if the earth is an egg, and information descends like sperm to all the open nodes of the world. I am. And if this happens, new information will be able to enter the world, fertilizing a new consciousness, transmitting data from other dimensions to it. Me. Wow. It is like a great fertilization at an unthinkable level. I am. And when this happens, new souls and spirits will re-enter this world, those who have never done so before, and that will be the moment. Me. Of what? I am. That you have to pass on your information. Have a child. Me. Wow. Okay, that is after the planetary reconnection. I am. That's right. For everything you do in this world is already production. Everything you are leaving for others is yourself expanding what you are, your data, to the world. But all this you do is not for you, it is for the earth. Your child will be your true inheritance, your own. Me. The great inheritance, like my book. I named him that when I was 15, and it's only now making sense to me. I am. History is already written. You just have to dare to live it. When both forces unite in reconnection, the new ones you hope for can be begotten and born. Me. And how do we prepare? What is the task for this? I am. I'm going to give you some advice. First of all, you must transcend the concept of sexuality. Clear the channels, the sexual conduits, and fill them with light. Through Tantra techniques, Kundalini, meditation, sacred sexuality, you will actively be releasing tensions in these creative centers in a physical way. Emotionally, you have to allow yourself to create. Dare to make art without judgment about your disabilities. I don't know how to do it is not valid in this practice, because practice is precisely the path that those who do not know must travel. Paint, dance, draw, build, mold, sculpt, design, carry out a project, and mentally write your story. Capture your ideas in the world. Take note. Make use of the famous Dear Diary. Tell yourself in writing what usually wanders in your head. The creative center is about manifesting, capturing, creating art in every way. Me. I am a designer of creation. I am. By recognizing yourself, whether sexually or asexually, you will be reproducing, expanding your information to the world. Do you already know where you will start? Me. Yes, I will paint the world, and so I will paint myself.